Okay, just start singing "Baby Shark, 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 Baby Shark, 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 Shark."
Yeah, this is not the Edmund show. We were talking about conversations on Clubhouse and how Issa's leaving.
So Monica, Rick and Morty requested to have one episode a month for the next 60 months. So there wouldn't really be seasons. They'll just be continuous. What do you think of that?
I don't think I have a valid opinion on Rick and Morty.
The question wasn't about Rick and Morty. It was about the fact but okay. It just happened to have come from the creator of Rick and Morty.
I think Monica's Jerry.
Anyway, Issa, I just wanted to thank you for the quality of room you've been hosting. I've been noticing. Have a good day.
Wow, what a compliment.
Thank you.
Yeah, that was
I
nice.
appreciate it. I appreciate it a lot.
So much quality that you're leaving.
Well, you know.
Well, that'll increase the quality.
There you go.
He's the one saying it's devolving, right?
But let's be honest, Monica, it's people like you that make rooms like this so amazing and enjoyable. Such unique experiences.
That's your opinion. Where'd Bobadilla go?
Nobody cares.
What do you mean? I love Bobadilla. New AirPods are gonna have cameras. Wow.
Oh my God.
Why would you want
So
that?
yes. We don't need more surveillance. Well, maybe. Actually, maybe.
Morning.
Morning, Marshall. How are you today, Marshall?
I mean, if
I'm good.
cameras
Sounds
are
like my dog.
here.
Oh, I sound what? Like your dog?
Yeah, walk my dog.
Marshall, why haven't you
It's pretty stupid.
Every day.
So,
It's pretty stupid.
do you agree with the idea, Meyer?
Yeah. I think I just think it takes time and discipline.
Yeah.
We have to keep the room not to censor what people say, but it has to be on topic or else it's just boring.
I disagree with the idea that humans walk dogs. If you're picking up the shit of another species, I'm not so sure that you're the one in control.
Who said I picked up her shit?
Well, you're a horrible neighbor. I knew you would be.
There's a big field that she can run around and take a dump in when she wants to.
Wait, who's Ace? Do we know him from an old
It's
account?
never your
Yes.
field, is it?
Who is this?
Well, it's my old friend who.
I'm not that old. I've had
He is from my friends of Trolley Clubhouse.
I like the title. I hope this attracts a lot of those pearl-clutching liberals about 25.
I agree.
That'll
It's
be
a
fun.
title. But
There is no title.
Sorry,
Yeah,
I didn't
Lisa,
it as soon as when he said it. I'm sorry.
Great timing, yes.
So here.
Well, that's what gets the
Yeah,
pearl
right.
clutching liberals. They have no title.
Okay.
I think we gotta bring back Suicide Watch.
I was thinking, and I run it
That's
through.
definitely on Suicide Watch at this point.
Oh, your condition is improving, Issa.
It is. As a woman,
That's right. You were thinking. What were you thinking about?
I was thinking, yeah. So, I was thinking that since everybody's talking about this Project 25, there is a lot of content in it. I just downloaded the book. It's 922 pages. And actually, it has. I was going through the foreword that lists the quote unquote promises, and I don't know, I think that there's a lot of good content to go through each one of the proposals and make a room about each of them, on different days, so we can focus on that that specific topic, and we can hear why is it that the left is opposing them? Why is it so wrong about it? Because in my opinion, this is just based on values and principles. There's nothing dangerous in them. But we can discuss, if people are concerned, because a lot of people are just full of shit. They're just saying, it's dangerous.
Yeah, Simon, look on Telegram, there's a PDF.
Very nice.
It's largely a discussion of American opposition, Republican opposition toward the administrative state, in particular noting that we opposed it in the 1890s.
You didn't make general?
We opposed it as we opposed both growth of bureaucratic state with FDR and his New Deal. We opposed it with LBJ
Must have
and
been
Free
the,
Society. And the first three chapters essentially talk about Republicans not liking an administrative state, which is standard affair for the Republican Party for the last 120 years.
But that's not going to convince the leftists because they don't care about the leftists.
Dude, I don't expect you thinking if they're getting their idea that the Republicans just run off of a single think tank, then they're not paying attention in the first place, and they're not paying attention to the
No,
think
I
tanks.
understand. They're not paying attention, and they're born in 2016, and Trump was the one to introduce the harsh language in the politics. Like, dealing with
I agree with that part.
So, Isa, will you consider doing those rooms on replay? Because I think that's so valuable. And then people, I don't know how you feel about replays, but I know you know how I feel about replays. Like, I just think that
love replays.
I know, but there's value. There's so much value to them because when I go back and listen to them, I hear what I didn't hear the first time. Like,
do you actually listen to all your replays?
Right after I do them, I do a quality check, and most of my replays are not very long. One of the longest rooms I ever did, Clubhouse removed, it was 8 hours. It was what is a hate crime, and they took it down and never told me why they removed it. That kind of stuff. So I stopped doing super long replays because the chances of them taking them down are not zero. But yeah, and I listened to Muse's replays 3 days ago, Monday. Jason got Goat to admit to co-signing the slaughter of slave owners' infants.
Wow, you really had to think about that one. I'll tell you, Jason Mewes really does some of the most interesting, intellectual, academic, and rigorous rooms. You're right, Monica. Replays are incredible.
I didn't think people could waste any more time than they already did.
Honestly, if it was like a Friday night, Saturday night, and I had nothing to do, I would just go to Jason Mewes' Clown House account and listen to replays that he did of really exciting rooms. Damn, right. This is hot content.
And that's why you
opposed to
record
recording everybody illegally without their permission and storing
Illegally, and without permissions.
That
Oh.
nobody ever listens to. You're right, Edmund. Your time is much more valuably spent than mine. Wow.
Don't get upset. It's just my opinion.
Recording your room on
Listen, Edmund, did you get to hear Goat admit to infanticide?
What, he's an abortionist? I'm pretty sure that's obvious.
No, that's not infanticide.
Infanticide is not abortion.
Oh, I see. Okay, never mind.
Are you dumb because you're a bimbo, Tiffany?
Am I dumb because I'm a what?
A blonde bimbo.
Oh, no, I'm not dumb. I'm just saying that, it's fun to play with Monica. She's a nice person and she's got a good heart, but I hate to say it, but you're a little naive or too innocent or something. I don't know what's wrong with you, but vote Trump and go to the gym, fatty.
Well, if he doesn't have a good heart. The heart disease is the biggest killer in the United States. People
have the best heart world around. It's doing the most work.
Wow.
Have you ever heard Jason Mewes actually say anything intelligent? I mean, I challenge anybody in this room to say something intelligent in one sentence.
Something intelligent in one sentence.
I think I'm down.
Okay, Tiffany, if you think all of us are stupid, why do you waste your time spending it with us?
Because you guys are free. Imagine if I had to coordinate all of this. It would be impossible. You guys are free.
Don't you have like an audiobook or something more valuable for you to go listen to that you?
Oh, I do. I listen to them. I create them.
To a little Guatemalan bitch, to an IDF gay Jew, and Meyer. Well, he's a good. Actually, I don't have anything to say about Meyer. And then
Oh, there's plenty to say.
is that the best you can do, Tiffany?
Oh, it's not the best. I have information. I'm looking at it right now. If you only had ears to listen, you would enjoy it. Instead, you can listen to Monica talking about how amazing Jason Muse's fucking replays are. Get a fucking life.
Hey, I just
You
wanna-
listen with your
I got
eyes.
an objection for the court. I got an objection for the court. I want to say that Monica is probably not fat. I can tell. I have a very keen sense of.
Why would you even care? I don't
Make sure for the record that we
We don't have in our room, so it doesn't matter. Neither we have color restrictions, so everything's okay. Don't worry.
Yeah, I just want to make sure
And
the record.
Tiffany's just
She
bitter.
doesn't have enough jowl. It's just she doesn't have enough jowl in her speech. So
Tiffany's just bitter because when he would put and play audio books, his audience was limited, but he needs to understand that you can't force people to listen to what you want to listen to. And then I'm naive, although he's authoritarian and a bully.
Well, if he's an authoritarian, he is forcing people.
I'm sorry, but I'm not an authoritarian or a bully. I read books, I go to the gym, and I vote Trump fatty.
Wait, is that his new name? Trump Fatty? Trump Fatty doesn't go to the gym.
I need to listen to Amber Rose's speech at the RNC. Did anyone hear it?
I heard the face tattoo. That's all I heard.
Then I immediately went to her. I went to her OnlyFans account. She's even promoting Trump on her OnlyFans account. It's incredible. It's crossover. It's pornographic crossover.
I'm happy I didn't pay for it.
It is shaping up to be a really interesting match.
There are people having trouble adjusting to the changing demographics of the Republican Party.
God damn.
The issue. It's a changing platform.
No. People are having difficulty adjusting to the changing demographics. White people, white men, white women, they're struggling with this demographic shift.
I'm able to find. Anyway. Who is raising their hand? Oh my God, Fanny!
Libres tienen un PBI per cápita casi 8 veces más grande que el PBI per cápita de los países referidos. Good afternoon, thank you very much. Today I'm here to tell you that the Western world is in danger. And it is in danger because those who are supposed to have to defend the values of the West are co-opted by a vision of the world that inexorably leads to socialism and thereby to poverty.
What's wrong with those?
Unfortunately, in recent decades, the
Nah,
main
I don't want to
leaders
say that. I don't want to say that, man.
Okay, just let the record show he refuses to acknowledge your name.
Are you
Wait,
denying
I
the
thought Paul
lived
was
experience?
short for holy.
Oh, Monica is here. My bad.
Wait, I thought Paul was short for holy. The anointed holy one. Is that not?
And are you against the self-determination of hoes? Are you against the self-determination of hoes?
No, Daniel, I'm not. I mean,
All right,
everybody's,
everyone,
free
more-
to do what they want.
I mean, they're on the fence.
Exactly.
Do a cold reading here. Mentally lopsided response.
to Donald Trump's existence. The funny part is that they fuck themselves in the process. People who hate him, they keep self-deprecating, basically. It's like none of these people have a clue. They're just fucking retards. They're morons. They don't know what the fuck they're doing. Disorganized, except at the glowing one level. They can't get their shit.
Man, you guys are all gay.
Yeah, Monica, yeah. You must like the fact that assassination
Careful how you
attempt.
pronounce my name. I'm a little sensitive about my name.
You don't like Trump supporters, Fleming?
No, because I'm progressive. That's why.
Yeah, I can tell that by how sensitive you are. You do not have to have sex.
No, he's lying. He's got money that Biden will die before Trump gets killed.
Oh, I'm dead.
Why are we so
Wild
many
would have
progressive
they actually
socialists?
killed them, and Biden ended up like stepping down. Well, be like 2 months before the election. You have,
You know, I'm actually a registered independent. Actually, that's funny that you guys should say that.
Honey, you ain't independent of shit. You're very dependent on the government.
The would-be assassin of Trump was a registered Republican. Registrations don't mean a whole lot. Kevin Siegfried, who waved the Confederate flag banner on January 6th, registered Democrat. Not much.
Well, the Confederate flag is the flag of the Democrat Party. What's your point?
Oh, maybe so.
Yeah, actually, it was the Dixiecrats. Know that.
Hey, when does Trump speak this week? Is it Thursday?
It's
I think
usually
it's
at
today. Yeah, it's today.
You have the audacity to call him Jesus.
Go on,
Hilarious.
Hey, shut up.
That joke is
Meyer, did you listen to Vivek's speech?
No.
It
No,
was
should
so powerful. I really liked it. Shall we
I don't
play
like
it?
the fact. So yeah.
Well, but you would have loved him.
Well,
think we should
he's
play it.
populist, so I don't love him. Speech.
it was so good
Yeah.
that
I
JD
think that-
and his son was back in that room.
I think the speech of Vivek was really good.
prehistory.
What was the takeaway from it? What did you learn from Vivek's speech that was so amazing?
It was very, very energizing, and he said so many good things about uniting and about personal responsibility and about encouraging people
biotech
to.
companies now.
So shall I play it? It's 8 minutes, but I
Oh,
can
yeah,
put it
play
in
it.
speed 1.25.
I'm sorry. What are we playing? I didn't pay attention. Like next speech at the RNC.
To revive America.
Yeah, I need it. I'm feeling depressed this morning. I need some energy.
Want me to play it?
Please.
No, I'm not asking you. I'm asking Daniel and Meyer. Do you guys want to play it? Want me to
Oh,
play it?
I'm up for it. I'm gonna start work, so I'm gonna get a little faster.
Vivek, does he have like an official role or something? Or he's just
No,
like
he
a
was
kind of...
running
He's
for
running for
president, and
secretary.
he was going to run for president.
I'm sure you know, Daniel, that it's not like the members of parliament. You don't have the secretaries are by the executive branch. He's vying for secretary. I don't know which secretary he's trying to get, but if Trump wins, he'll get a position. So he's not nothing official right now. He knew he's not going to win the nominee. He's running for something else. I'm not sure what, but
I
I
don't
don't
know.
think he's expected to get
I think
VP.
2028. I think he's running for 2028.
He could be, but he's going to need something in between. He's going to if Trump comes up.
I was gonna say he definitely needs to run for Senate or Congress because he's a
I
great
don't think
orator.
so.
He can create like
Or Senate. He should run for Senate. Now
He
that there's going to be an opening
Too
with
late.
maps.
Oh, you mean, but that's not an election.
Yeah, in 2 years.
Governor, that's not an election. Oh, in 2 years. Okay, but I think he's going to want a secondary position in the party.
I think you have a great point, Mir. Have I been saying your name wrong? Is it Meyer or is it Mir?
No, it's Mayer. The German pronunciation is Meyer.
Yeah, I call him Meyer.
Miss
I'm
Hosey
gonna
is German.
call you
so-
Mayor from now on because Mayor reminds like Mayor Mayor. That's funny. I like.
Anyway, let's play it.
gentlemen, now please welcome businessman Vivek Ramaswamy of Ohio.
It's good to be back in Milwaukee. This time last year, I was a candidate for U.S. president, and I'm proud to say that I achieved the impossible, which is that most of you actually know how to say my name by now. So thank you for that. It's good to be back. We're in the middle of a national identity crisis right now. Faith, patriotism, hard work, and family have disappeared, only to be replaced by race, gender, sexuality, and climate. But we're not going to win this election just by criticizing the other side. We're going to win this by standing for our own vision of who we really are. What does it mean to be a Republican in the year 2024? What does it mean to be an American in the year 2024? It means we believe in the ideals of 1776. It means we believe in merit, that you get ahead in this country, not on the color of your skin, but on the content of your character and your contributions. It means we believe in the rule of law, and I say this as the kid of legal immigrants to this country. That means your first act of entering this country cannot break the law. That is why we will seal the southern border on day one. It means that people who we elect to run the government ought to be the ones who actually run the government, not unelected bureaucrats in the deep state. These are not black ideas or white ideas. They are not even Democrat ideas or Republican ideas. They are American ideas that we fought a revolution to secure. And the man who will revive these ideals in the United States of America is your next president, the 47th president of the United States, Donald J. Trump. If you want to seal order, vote Trump. If you want to restore law and order in this country, vote Trump. If you want to reignite the economy in this country, vote Trump. If you want to revive national pride in this country, vote Trump. If you want to make America great again, vote Trump. But there is one more reason I'm going to ask you to vote Trump, and it's the most important one. It's the one the media won't talk about, but it's the truth. Donald Trump is the president who will actually unite this country, not through empty words, but through action. Because you know what? Success is unifying. Excellence is unifying. That's who we are as Americans. That's who we've always been. To those of you watching this at home tonight, I'd like to deliver a message that the media doesn't want you to hear from the Republican Party. Our message to black Americans is this. The media has tried to convince you for decades that Republicans don't care about your communities, but we do. We want for you what we want for every American. Safe neighborhoods, clean streets, good jobs, a better life for your children, and a justice system that treats everyone equally, regardless of your skin color and regardless of your political beliefs. Our message to every legal immigrant in this country is this. You're like my parents. You deserve the opportunity to secure a better life for your children in America. But our message to illegal immigrants is also this. We will return you to your country of origin, not because you're all bad people, but because you broke the law. And the United States of America was founded on the rule of law. Our message to millennials, speaking as one myself, yes, it's true. Our government sold us a false bill of goods with the Iraq War and the 2008 financial crisis, loading up our national debt that falls on our generation's shoulders, telling us that if we took out college loans, we'd somehow get a head start on the American dream, when it hasn't worked out that way. But we can't just be cynical about our country, because the United States of America is still the last best hope that we have, and we deserve a better class of politician, one who actually tells us the truth, even if it comes with some mean tweets from time to time. To Gen Z is this. You're going to be the generation that actually saves this country. You want to be a rebel? You want to be a hippie? You want to stick it to the man? Show up on your college campus and try calling yourself a conservative. Say you want to get married, have kids, teach them to believe in God and pledge allegiance to their country. Because you know what? Fear has been infectious in this country, but courage can be contagious too. That too is what it means to be an American. Our message to you is this. We will still defend to the death intellectual right to say. That is who we are as Americans. We are the country. We can disagree like hell and still get together at the dinner table at the end of it. That is the America I know. That is the America we miss. We do not have to be ancient Rome. We don't have to be this nation in decline. We can still be a nation in our ascent. A nation whose best days, not some fake politician way, but in a true way, a nation whose best days are actually still ahead of us. Still on our way to that shining city on a hill, that country where no matter who you are, or where your parents came from, or what your skin color is, or how long your last name is, that you will still get ahead in this country with your own hard work, your own commitment, your own dedication, and that you know what, you are free to speak your mind at every step of the way. That is the American dream. That is what won us the American Revolution. That is what reunited us after this. Two world wars and the Cold War. And that is what still gives hope to the free world. And if we can revive that dream over group identity and victimhood and grievance, then nobody in the world, not a nation, not a corporation, not a virus, not China, is going to defeat us. That is what American exceptionalism is all about. And that is what we will revive this November when we send Donald J. Trump back to the White House. Thank you all. God bless you and your families. And may God bless our United States of America. Thank you.
Thank you, Asa. That was awesome.
That was that.
I feel energized.
That was a good speech. I only just came in 30 seconds ago, but remember I was joking around the other day about how unpronounceable his last name is, and you just made reference to it.
Yeah, I know. But yeah, wasn't it like energizing? It's like, I don't know. It was very concise and very direct, and he mentioned why America is what it is, focused on values and principles, and yeah, he left the politics really aside, you know, like, yeah, it's not about
Yeah, but that is the
no.
politics. All communication is hypnosis.
But he didn't focus on shitting on the Democrats.
No, his speech was perfect, and why people push back against it is a mystery. But nonetheless, people, when they hear him speak and they hear that type of information, it drives TDS brains crazy.
He spoke to patriotism. He made the U.S. Marine in me remember what it felt like to think of America when I was younger, when it was a different country. Everything he said, I agree with. Everything he said was motivating. Everything he said brought my focus and my attention onto the American flag and the pride that it is to be an American in a way that other people don't do when they talk too much politically speaking. That said, the person that he points to make it happen, listen, Donald Trump isn't that. He's not that person. But if he's got to be the head of a party that could go the direction that Vivek just talked about, I would be all in. In other words, I don't need Donald Trump to represent that personally, which he doesn't at all, not even remotely close. At the same time, if the party would go that direction, and I feel that is the direction it used to be, that used to be the direction of what's quote-unquote rhinos now, believe it or not. Whether or not they made mistakes in their leadership of the country and the way they managed it with their global agenda to promote democracy, things like that. Yes, they made mistakes, but their focus was way more directed in everything Vivek just talked about than MAGA technically is, even though MAGA thinks that's what they're doing. They're talking out of both sides of their mouth, and Donald Trump isn't an example of that. But if he's got to be the leader of a party, if it could direct its actions and its thought processes toward what Vivek's talking about as a party, then that would differentiate them from the Democrats completely. I don't hear any Democrats talking about pride in the country the way he just talked about it. And that's what I want out of the Republican Party. That's the Republican Party I miss. The negative nature of Donald Trump and the bombastic ridiculousness and the fact that he doesn't represent a moral, upstanding human being on a personal level is not conducive with the family values that Vivek's talking about and the return to patriotism that Vivek's talking about. Talking about kicking out immigrants is not what It's not everything there is to being patriotic. There's a fuckload more to it. And he spoke to it. To be honest, I'd vote for that fucking man in a heartbeat.
Who has your vote in November, Mike? Who has your vote in November?
What? What's that?
Who has your vote in November?
Listen, I think that question right now, it's I don't know. I think I don't like to push people into saying where they're going to place their vote. I also think that there are still like 4 or 5 months to go, until November, and people are still making up their minds. There's a lot of things happening around there, but I would say, Mike, Trump might not be the perfect person to represent this ideal, as you're saying, but it is the person that is attracting the people that stand behind this ideal. And for whatever reason, he is building this formation of people who will be the future of your country. And just think about this. Trump is not the Republican Party. He is building a team of people that will lead the government of the U.S. It's not him only. So
then he needs to take the focus off of himself. If he can redirect the focus off of himself, if he can let his ego go, and maybe he can in the second 4 years, because the second 4 years, he's a lame duck. The second 4 years, he's hopefully thinking more about the future after himself, whereas the first 4, he was probably thinking all about himself. If he's capable of redirecting the focus away from himself, then yes, he can reframe the Republican Party in a manner, in a direction that would benefit the country tremendously. I'm not convinced he can do that yet. But that said, I believe in J.D. Vance and I believe in Vivek more than I believe in Donald Trump. So let's take the focus off of the fucking orange, fucking hypocritical liar, and let's put it on the values of patriotism that Vivek and J.D. and the intellect that J.D. represents. Put it in the hands of those people, and let's see where it can go. And let's turn it off of Donald Trump. I get that I have to vote for Donald Trump in order to get the red party in there. I get it. At the same time, that fucking man needs to turn the focus away from himself, because I'm tired of his bombastic, bullshit, fucking lying ways.
Mike, let's get more granular. What exactly is it that you're so
that one they're going.
Focus off of himself if they didn't spend 3 years with a Russian collusion delusion, if they weren't prosecuting him, if they didn't try to impeach him for a third time, maybe then he could focus on policy and progress. But the left and the Never Trumpers never let him.
Monica, there's a place where he can be held accountable for his fucking crimes, and that party can grow in the direction Vivek's talking about. Those two things can coexist. He should not be immediately let off of all his crimes and all the fucking ways that he tries to subvert the democratic process in his goals to achieve what apparently is values that align with a lot of people that don't agree with him. He doesn't have to be let off. He doesn't have to. The rule of law that Vivek talked about it's not cohesive with the idea of letting Donald Trump off for all his fucking crimes, especially January 6th. It's not cohesive with that. So it is two different things that are coexisting. He's gathering a party of people that include greatness, great people with great thinkers and intellect. He's gathering that party, and that's great. And it's almost.
But Mike, what punishment would you like Trump to have in this justice world that you speak of?
It's almost like he's his own fucking worst enemy. His party would be better off without him, and they don't fucking know any better, and it's ridiculous.
Dude, you got bad TDS, dog. You got bad TDS. You in the books. You in the books for bad TDS, dude.
Mike, just get more granular without the whole long speech. What exactly is your issue? What do you think he did that you
He doesn't like Trump, but he likes
My issue is that he tried to subvert democracy by placing fake electors in to override a democratic election that he lost. Now, if he would have won,
you got bad TDS, bro.
It was unacceptable for him to do that.
You do know that
the checks and balances in the Constitution made sure that his own vice president did exactly what he didn't want him to do, and at the end of January 6th, Biden was elected.
I get it. Yes, and I'm not happy with the way it turned out necessarily. I am happy with what Pence did, and Pence did do that, and the system was set up in a way that allowed Pence to stop that, and that was the wrong action to take that Trump did. It was wrong. It was not okay. He was behind it. It was not okay. That said, and then he lost. Now, if he was too early for his time, hang on, let me finish.
Mike, calm down. Mike, it was wrong, and it was unprecedented.
Lost, and so
and
be
it
it.
wasn't criminal. There was no criminality.
It was. But the point is that what he did, instead of accepting that reality and admitting after the fact, once he got away with it, that maybe it was a mistake and maybe he'll try better next time for everybody. Instead, he demonized the man that stopped it, and who arguably was the only person that saved. He was the moving force of the democracy that actually kept that stable. He's the man that did that. He was demonized in retrospect, which is the exact opposite of what happened. Same thing with Mitch McConnell, the way he demonized him in retrospect when he was so loyal. Those kinds of actions show that it's just bad human nature to act like he does about people that support him. It's not okay. J.D. Vance will probably may or may not make the right decision if that time comes again. But shame on Donald Trump if that motherfucker loses again and puts his country in the same fucking peril. It's not acceptable.
Okay, so Mike, calm down. It's still not criminal. Everything you said about unpresidential, his bad character is all a problem. Nothing you said there is criminal. Not demonizing people you don't like, it's not criminal.
It's not a person I don't like. It's his actions that I don't like.
Trump demonized someone he doesn't like, and that was your issue. But that's not criminal.
The parts that are criminal are the parts that the courts have found him and charged him with. The fact that he gets away with some of those charges by working the system the way he does not mean that he's innocent. It means that the system is flawed.
He has not been found guilty.
They found it with bookkeeping errors. That's all he's been found with. This is a crime so bad that they gave it to some dude and his mother.
I've said my piece. I've explained what I have in common with him, and I do support what the big said.
Okay. Great. I guess the question is which cabinet
I don't know how to eat the poop.
Which cabinet position will Vivek get?
I want to shit. I want to piss shit.
What is this guy saying?
I don't know.
He just goes on and interrupts.
Department of Commerce?
I want the poop. It is a tasty food in this world.
The U.S. Marine in me also can't tolerate the disrespect that he had for General Mathis and the other Joint Chiefs of Staff. I can't tolerate his disrespect for the military and the other three-letter organizations that may not be perfect, but that our country relies on to be safe. I cannot tolerate his disrespect for the U.S. military, its service members, and all the other services that work in conjunction and serve this country the way they do from a patriotic standpoint. I can't tolerate his disrespect for it. It's not acceptable for Commander-in-Chief and President to say and do the things that he says. That does not mean the Republican Party is guilty of the things that he's guilty of. But I cannot tolerate his disrespect for it. I can't. General Matheson is a great man, a U.S. Marine of exceptional caliber. He's just one example of the people that were thrown under the fucking bus because they didn't want to do things Donald Trump's way under the circumstances that Donald Trump created that were arguably stretching the law in many directions and disregarding the norms of precedents that have gotten us where we are in our history. I can believe in a Republican Party that is not Donald Trump. I refuse to admit that if I'm a never Trumper, that I'm a pro-Biden. That's not true. There is a third space that didn't used to exist in this country where a lot of people fit into my position.
But Mike, you're asking for an outcome that is impossible to get right now.
No, that he's right about. Everything you just said now is right about.
No, what I'm saying is...
You're right. No, I agree with that. I agree with you. And that's why my decision is not easy. I'm not convinced I'm going to vote for Biden. I'm not convinced I won't vote for Donald Trump. My decision isn't easy. I have to more than anybody when they say, "Oh, I'm just going to," what do they say? Not bite the bullet, whatever the hell they say, that I'm just going to hold my nose and go vote. Of all people in this country, the people who believe the way I do about the party that I lost, that I was part of my whole life, In my mind, I lost it so far.
Do
It
you
has a
live in a state where your vote matters? Like, I live in New York.
I live in Cobb County, Georgia. Fuck yeah, dude. I live in probably the most important place in the entire United States for my vote to matter. My vote means more than most Americans. My vote means multiple Americans' votes by living in Cobb County, Georgia. It did 4 years ago, for sure.
So Matt, my vote doesn't matter, but I have pretty much the same sentiment as you do. However, just the Supreme Court picks alone will get me to vote for Trump. You want Biden's vote Supreme Court picks in there, like just the cabinet, the administration. I get the problem with him on a personal level. I mean, I don't think anything you said rises to a criminal level, but on the personal level, I get all your allegations against him. But we're voting for an administration, and there's no choice law.
If I can convince myself, and I'm certainly capable of changing my mind, I think changing minds are good, not a bad thing. I've lived long enough that if I hadn't changed my mind, I'd question myself. I think people are idiots when they can live 50 years with the way that these parties change, live 50 years and vote the same way their whole fucking life. That tells me there's a problem, because that means the things that are changing without their observation and judgment of those changes. They're just taking it because of the color that they're appealed to. It's ridiculous. So I am capable of changing. JD Vance, I don't disrespect for him for the things he said about Trump in 2016 and what he says now. I actually consider that a sign of intelligence.
Yeah, me too. Because in 2016 it made sense to criticize Trump, but now we lost the election. You and I in the primary, we lost the election.
Yeah, I think the things he said.
As opposed to Stacey Adams and Donald Trump, let's admit we lost the election, and he's the head of the party. There's nothing to do about that, except it's still the party. Not because of party loyalty. It's still the better team in office.
I think you can make the argument that he was completely reasonable in his opinions in 2016 about Donald Trump, and that he has more information about Donald Trump now, 8 years worth, that allowed him to reinvest a little bit of thought into what he thinks is best for the future of our country, and whether he rolled over because he believes in what you're talking about, which could very well be the case. If he said what he said about Donald Trump in 2016, and he said
Is it me or did Mike fade away?
No, he faded away.
No, he went off. I think he went in the matrix. I don't know.
I agree with most of what he's saying. I understand the passion. I just don't accept the conclusion.
Me too, but I think, I even though I agree with him, I can perceive a lot of emotion involved in the argument, and I think that this excessive passion or emotion, let's say, it kind of like blinds your reasoning. And I am not saying that he is not a reasonable man. I agree with most of what Mike says, but when it comes to the rejection of Trump and the actual, let's say, qualifying the things that he's been accused of, it takes away your capacity for objectivity, when you are being overly passionate or overly emotional. It doesn't help your objectivity. Yeah.
I'm going to come to defense of Mike. It's actually his conclusions are reasonable, and whether they're emotionally charged or not, I think it's a secondary matter. Because of his dealings, Trump's dealings in the private sector, I think it would be fairly reasonable to come to the conclusions that Mike is coming to.
But again,
because hold on, just one more piece. Because usually when we make those type of future predictive decisions, we base them on something that has happened before in order to see what type of pattern that's created. So Michael is basically creating a pattern, and he's going with that pattern. Now, whether Trump is actually guilty of those things that Michael named, that is yet to be seen. The courts will determine this. I believe in the system of the court system. But it is reasonable for him to make the conclusions that he was making.
Again, I am not against his reasoning. I think as I was saying, I agree with it. But when it comes to the rejection and the evaluation of Trump, I think reasoning gets blurred when you inject too much emotion into it.
He also wants.
Yeah, I have a lot of emotion
people-
for my country because I'm an actual patriot. I have a ton of emotion for my country, and I think people should have
That
emotion
doesn't
for their
mean the
country.
rest of
I
us
think.
aren't patriots.
It's wrong, Mike. I was actually
Emotion
born on
is
here.
good.
Listen. The patriotism for Donald Trump as a person, the sweared allegiance to the man himself, is contradictory to the same feeling that I get when the flag itself is raised, and it gives me the chills. Those are not the same thing. They don't have to be, and they're not.
Emotion is good, and emotion for the country is extremely good. But the problem is the emotion towards the man. So I get it, but that's not what we're voting for. We're voting for a party. We're voting for an administration. We're voting against a different party. Like this, that the problem is if the emotion is all focused on the man, then we lose the bigger picture.
But he made it that way, though. I mean, he's getting what he
I
wanted.
get it. So what?
You
Do
want
you
all
think
of
that the
people
Republicans care
surrounding
about the Trump show that Trump gets to run? They care about the eyeballs that stay on their platform. Trump can be president for at most another 4 years. That's it. But Republicanism, the ideology, the way that can spread. Why do you think Vivek is so happy? He's not happy because he agrees with Trump. He's happy because he lives in a country where a crazy motherfucker like Trump can be president.
I hear it. I love that. Thank you.
Yeah, exactly. And listen, it's 4 years of Trump, but as Maxad is saying, it's what's behind him. And the quality of people that is standing behind him, the quality of people that he is being able to attract, that is where maybe you guys should put your attention, because you're being distracted by the emotions you guys feel towards a man, as Meyer is saying. But the bigger picture is, okay, who is going to be behind the whole system? That's not going to be just Trump.
And you can't separate all of the people that are standing around him that you like from Donald Trump. They're there because he is the party leader right now. So
yeah,
you get one with the other.
He sucks in all of the Republican-leaning minds. And the basic point is that the Republicans are pro-America, more so than Democrats. Democrats want America to change into such a progressive thing. The Republicans are very happy with how America functions, and when it results in a crazy lottery winning, like a real estate developer from New York taking the White House, we cheer because that means we're crazy enough to truly believe in our system. That's why you see the Republicans flocking around him. There's a cult of personality. Sure, he's an interesting guy. Sure, he says stuff that we like. But in the end, this is what happens in America. We don't have the austere guy whose great-grandfather was Earl of York. We have any guy that can make his case to the people. This era, it's Trump. But the Republicans are happy to see what each era brings.
Okay, I'll say this for sure. I think it's a really strong point about the people he's surrounded himself with. On the first tour, he surrounded himself with a bunch of fucking asshole losers. Steve Bannon has no fucking place in the White House. Okay, his daughter has no place in the fucking White House.
Trump has grown in the past 4 years because he never expected to get in the House. This was all a book deal to just beat up Hillary. But
I agree.
And he gets the House, and now he is a bit more presidential. Like, he's got 4 years of experience. It's more than he had before.
Well, and he's surrounding himself with some people that are starting to be impressive. Vivek is more impressive than he was 4 years ago. JD, it came out of nowhere, and he's impressive. Like, I agree that the people he is now surrounding himself with are infinitely better for the future of our country than the idiots that he did last time.
Because
and I might be hung up in the past because
trust the system. They're not creating their own independent organization that ushers in the true best Democratic leaders. They're not doing a deviation. They say, listen, let the people decide. Who cares if it's Trump? Who cares if it's Vivek? Who cares if it's Haley? Who cares if it's Rubio? We want the voice of the people heard. Because we're conservative.
If he wants people like me to vote for him, he needs to take people like MTG and throw her to the fucking curb, which he apparently is starting to do. It's becoming really obvious he's distancing himself from her. That is a great thing. She's among the idiots that I would put Bannon and the fucking idiot Roger Stone in, right? He needs to ditch. He can on the side. He can enjoy them and be friends with them, and have them over and party with them. I don't give a fuck. He needs to stop publicly showing support for those people. He just does. And if he just distances himself from him and stops talking about him and starts listening and hanging out with JD and freaking Vivek and whoever else he's going to put in his cabinet, then yes, that's how he's going to get his votes. That's it.
Yeah. I think. Sorry, I was just reading the chats in the messages in the chat. And I think, I mean, this is a good opportunity, you know, to actually people vote for the right thing. And these people represent your values, and these people represent where you guys want to go as a country. And I was giving a look today to the forward to the playbook thing of the 2025 or Project 2025, and actually, well, I think it's a good book, you know, a good playbook. It talks about all these values that you were talking before, Mike. And they say, well, the first 180 days, because we have very little time, the cycle is short, so we need a plan. And this is what we're going to do. And they're focusing on all of these things that Vivek talked about. And if you give a look, I don't expect you to read it because it's like 900 pages. But if you give a look, just like glimpse through it, you know, I don't know. I don't know why people are seeing these as evil.
So just a couple things. So first of all, there's a little bit of disconnect. Vivek did not talk about all the things in the project. He talked about like the basic, you know, platitudes of
the principles. He talked about
of the platform, of the Republican platform, which was great. You know, like that's why I think he should be definitely running for some sort of office in the next 4 years, and it'll give him the meat on the bones, because he's a great orator. Like, he's very charming. He's, you know, he connects with the crowd. He's well spoken. So I think I really hope they invest into him as a future of the Republican Party. But the project itself, I don't know if you read it, or I didn't read the whole thing. I just read the portions of it. The problem is not the values that they are describing there. The problem is in some points the form in which they put it, or the type of conflations that they make. For example, I am absolutely appalled by the push of the transgender ideology in the schools, in the secondary education. And I think the people who doing this should be held responsible. You know,
what is so appalling?
Well, I'm about to explain. So what is so appalling about transgender ideology? It's indoctrinating children, and it's sexualizing them. It's appalling. But what the Project 2024? So I agree with the spirit of their propositions, but the form in which they put it is a little bit troublesome, because they are saying basically that not only the people who are, you know, proactively grooming children would be criminalized, but also, you know, like they include librarians in there. They include teachers who are simply, you know, teaching curriculum that's been infected by those things. I don't think that is a reasonable form in which it should be, you know, implemented. But, you know, once again, so there's a difference between the ideas, which I support, and the form in which they want to implement.
I mean, all
but
this.
You know that Project 2025 is not coming from the administration. This is
Of course. Maya, of course. I think it's a boogeyman. It's 100% boogeyman on the left.
But we get the boogeyman on the left. But let's look at it as value. So the details have to be worked out. I haven't read that part. I want to read it. It sounds like I could be. I share your position.
Transgender issue. It's just a question of how you're educating your kids. Which, let's be honest, we're terrible at educating our kids.
Well, there was a town hall
We're
during
the
the
civics.
convention.
Why
for
does
Mothers
nobody
for
understand
Freedom.
how the Supreme Court works? What's wrong with this country?
There was a town hall right near the convention, Mothers for Freedom, that they want to educate the kids and not the government.
For liberty.
Mothers for Liberty. Thank you.
Yeah, but for example, so I've been reading Victoria's comments, right? She directed one comment to you, Myers. She said, Myers, so you like women's and LGBTQ rights rolled back to the 60s? You like how he put people with zero experience into positions like Betsy DeVos, for example, and then most quit, who saw how awful and incompetent things were, or were fired if they agree with all? I'm not sure if I am making too much sense of this paragraph, but Honestly, I don't want women's rights or LGBTQ rights. I want people's rights. And I don't give a shit what you do in bed, in your bedroom when you're having sex with someone. I don't care if they have a penis or a vagina, or if they're black or white or yellow or whatever is their color. I want the rights for people. I don't want special rights for women. If women are competent, if women are capable of doing the things, they will get the jobs. I think that everyone is equal under the Constitution, and that is the important thing. All of these identity policies is just stupid, and it creates actually that of what it's supposedly fighting. It's ridiculous. So yeah, I am not for women's rights. I am not for LGBTQ rights. I am not for blacks' rights. I just want rights. Full stop. I don't want to be anyone's charity just because I'm a woman.
Well, that's really first wave feminism. They wanted parity, not exactly equality. Second wave said, give us the jobs.
Yeah, and actually it's becoming dangerous. I mean, all this inclusivity hiring and all this shit, I mean, like, push people because of how they look instead of how capable they are. It's absurd, you know? It's dangerous. And the consumers, I mean, you guys supporting this are going to be suffering the consequences, because tomorrow you might be in an emergency where you need the most competent person in the world to take care of that problem, and what you will get is some inclusivity hire, you know, in an emergency of a pilot, or maybe the surgery of open heart, or maybe, I don't know. Look what Trump had the other day, the bodyguards, these minions that were covering him, that he was taller than these women around him. What the fuck was that?
So that is okay. So from conversations with people who have some sort of experience in that area, that was inconsequential. The idea was, if they could do what they were supposed to do according to the regulations, whether they are men or women, they should be an opportunity. So if they pass basically the test, from what I understand, there is a specific physical test outside of just a general acceptance test, which does differentiate between females and males for the Secret Service, and if they pass the test, they should be given the opportunity. I think the idea of the protected classes as it came in United States, and the good intentions that it had and the positive implications that it had, but it was hijacked and corrupted in the process, was to kind of balance things out, because those classes were specifically discriminated based on the features that should not be part of the discussion. So if you're pro meritocracy and you are considering like a sex of a person or their skin color, and you're looking for, I don't know, a plumber, that seems to be an extra feature that has completely no consequences, and just a way of discriminating a person. So I think, once again, like, the ideas were good. They did what they had to do, but now I think they've been taken to its extreme nonsensical border.
Okay, so you're talking about passing a test. Oh, sorry, Mike, you're in the Matrix, I think.
Can you hear me? Hold on a second.
Yes, I can.
I was just gonna say the path that all is paved with good intent.
You're in the Matrix, Sam.
He said the path to hell is paved with good intention. So
oh yeah, exactly.
So they have good intentions. He's not.
I always think of the Democrat.
Yeah, actually.
I always think of when the pride is black.
Oh no, you're deep in the Matrix.
So
Actually,
anyone that supports
Hitler had
Trump,
the best intentions for his country. He did what he thought it was right.
So anyone that supports Trump's agenda is
automatically means they want to roll back rights to the 60s. I mean, this idea is so off.
It's just gaslighting. It's constant gaslighting. But
is it gaslighting when you truly believe it? Or
what does he really want to do? Close the border. Big easy win. End the wars abroad. Big easy win. He's not the most complicated guy. We really shouldn't just be inventing stuff we're afraid of and saying it's because of him, that guy we really don't like for obvious reasons.
We also are going to have a platform this year. We have a platform committee, and they're arguing over it, and they're going to put it out instead of 2020 where we put out
2020 was a huge mistake.
Oh yeah, dude, not having a platform in 2020 was disastrous. It was terrible. But now we're going to have one. That's a great thing.
Yeah. Democracy works. At least when there are no Cessnas involved.
Well,
I don't think that's democracy. I think it's just not being lazy. After all, really the only two reasons to ever go to a convention are to elect new officers and deal with stuff like that.
one of the things I wanted to say, just to Andre, to your point about passing the test and being capable of performing on a job, yes, I have heard that argument as well. But let's say you have 100 people, right? And in order to pass the test, you need to achieve 50%. I mean, the grade 50 out of 100. So you have, 30 people that are not achieving that 50, right? That 50%. You have then, 20 of them that are between 50 and 70. You have 10 of them that are between 70 and 80, and you have another 20 that are between 80, you have 10, a top 10 that are between 90 and 100, right? It just so happens that the ones in the top rank, the 10 people, the top 10 people are men. The second rank, you're looking to hire 3 people or 5 people. The second rank, you have, the 20, you have 17 men and 3 women. And then in the third rank, between 50 and 70, you have the other 3 women that you need in order to hire. There are a majority of women there. So you will say, okay, all of them pass the test, but ultimately, in order to hire 5 women, you need to take 3 that are between 50 and 70, and 2 that are between 70 and 90. But you don't get hold on. All of them are qualified. Hold on. All of them are qualified according to the test, but you're not getting the best of the best. In some instances, when we're talking about piloting a plane, when we're talking about heart surgery, when we're talking about leaving your children in the hands of these people, you don't want to have the ones in the lower notes, of the test. You want those that are the best of the best.
Correct. So,
and it doesn't matter if they're men.
So in the pilot industry, I understand there's a huge problem with that because it kind of leaked that that's the way they were making their decision. And the same thing I think with fire department and perhaps this is certainly not how it works with doctors. This is certainly, the entrance exams, yes, but not when you qualify for the actual job at the interview. From what I understand. Now, I would love to check with Marvin because my intuition tells me that your assessment of how the Secret Service or any kind of, those type of services like Army or Secret Service, they do not do that type of calculus. They just pick the top people and
she made a bunch of comments. The head of the Secret Service. I don't know if she actually followed through on them, but she made a bunch of comments in the last 2 years how we have to have more women in the service, more diversity. So that has happened.
Yeah, Myra, I'm aware that she made those comments, but I'm talking about the technical implemented policy. So I would love to check with Marvin because my intuition.
Do you think Marvin knows everything? I hate to tell you this, but he wasn't the smartest Army officer or Marine Corps officer. Mike Moon has more intelligence than Marvin in his left pinky.
Okay, that's a wonderful interjection. So yeah, but I rely on people who I at least have more confidence in. Anyway, so I would be curious to see, and if it checks out with what I can find, if they actually pick just the top 10 picks, or do they do this kind of calculus to see, okay, so we have the top 20 picks, we need to fill a certain quota, social quota thing, so we're going to pick the top 4, and then we're going to pick the middle 6 in order for it to be...
Andre, it's clear you are not born in America and you don't know how DEI hiring practices are working. Sorry.
I know much better than you.
No, you do not. I am an American. I am an Army officer.
They definitely, in the Marine Corps, they definitely pass up male promotions to purposefully promote females who have a set of reduced standards versus the male, especially physical standards, but other standards as well in some cases. They definitely pass up and have specific openings only for women per following guidelines of quotas that they also have that for black officers.
Oh yeah.
Wasn't you the one talking about it, Mike, the other day?
I was talking about the black officer swimming thing, which happened when I was in the Marine Corps. I was public affairs, so I wrote press releases on behalf of the Marine Corps. That was one of my jobs, and I spent quite a bit of time.
Oh my God, you are JD Vance.
Yeah. No, I was Joker from Full Metal Jacket, same job. But I was in peacetime, so I spent my time doing a lot of press releases, responding to the Associated Press and Reuters in order to give the official account for what the Marine Corps statements were on various things that would appear in the media. That was my job. And I spent quite a bit of time responding to the media's reaction to our general at the time, General Krulak, who made a statement in reference to the question, why didn't the U.S. Marine Corps have more black officers? And he did the research internally, and his position was that they did not have enough black men passing the swim qualifications in order to fill the ranks of the black officer slots that were available. And immediately he was chastised for being racist, despite the fact that he had tons of evidence to show that it's true. And that's an example of where that kind of policy, where affirmative action goes awry, is just like that. When affirmative action is still not resulting in success because of a tangible, logical, numerically quantifiable reason, and then that reason is not investigated and acted upon in a manner which would fix the problem, because we get caught up on the social dynamics of how unfortunate that reality is. That's what happens in these positions. That's where that entire idea of affirmative action, which in and of itself, I think, is a noble, realistic goal to kind of force it to happen when human nature doesn't naturally make it happen, to speed up the progress, I guess, so to say. I don't think that's necessarily a bad thing. The problem is when it is these realities that are numerically quantifiable that are then ignored because of the unfortunate nature of the political view of what it represents.
Can we just agree that it's a jobs program and leave it at that?
There's nothing. I disagree with what you just said, and from my understanding, once again, correct me if I'm wrong, that once the entrance exam is passed, and they do have different types of standards for women and men. Certain jobs, like for field jobs, they have universal tests. So whether you're a male or female, if you pass, you pass. If you don't pass, you don't pass. Is that true?
Yes, that's true. And more and more, there's less of those. There's more of the jobs that have the same requirements, but it also goes service by service. The U.S. Marine Corps has completely different requirements for men and women, physically speaking especially, but in some other positions as well, specifically because they're more elite and they're more tuned into being better and more efficient at their jobs with less resources. So because the Marine Corps relies more heavily on their individual troops, because they have the smallest number of troops and they have a more elite mission, that is more bilateral. Their mission requires a combination of what the Navy and the Army does. I mean, we come in from we're the first ones in, we come in from the water, we we established security on the land in order to build runways with the help of the Navy. The Seabees come in and they build the runways that then the Air Force and the Army can land things on, and then the troops can take over from there. So because of that unique position, the Marine Corps has certain requirements of like living on aircraft carriers, you know, in small quarters. So that requires a difference of like men unmused, which are those positions that do that, you know, versus women unmused. There's certain things that they have to pay attention to. But at the same time, the Marine Corps still pushes both of theirs to their extremes by keeping them separated. That's how they do it. It's the better way to do it. So a good example is the physical fitness test for the U.S. Marine Corps requires men to do pull-ups. But to maximize the score, it's about 16 or 17 pull-ups. A woman has something called a bent arm hang, which is where you help her get up, and if she holds her head above the bar, just like a man does at the top of a pull-up. The bent arm hang has to be held for like two-ish minutes. I've never seen a U.S. Marine man, no matter how strong he was, hold himself up for 2 minutes. He cannot do it. He starts shaking and he drops every fucking time. Women can do it. Women, I've never seen do 17 pull-ups, not even fucking close. Men can. Men have explosive strength. Women have long enduring strength. It's just two separate physical things. So the Marine Corps knows this. They specifically train their men, whereas the Army, the Navy, the Air Force, all of them train their men up together because they're not maximizing either one of their potentials.
Why do they do it that way?
They do it that way because of social pressure. The U.S. Marine Corps had to fight hard in Congress for decades to keep our training regiment separated at the boot camp level. The Marines are the only ones that still do it.
So what would Vivek Ramaswamy or Donald Trump say about these standardizations and how that impacts force readiness or the ability to win a war?
They wouldn't like them, I don't think. I think they'd be more reasonable to assume that it's not in the best interest to play that political game. I mean, you know, and you look at the Marine Corps, is it the most effective fighting force in the United States? Yes, it is. Why? Because of that. That's a core reason.
Marines are juggernauts. It's like Magneto saying, send in the pawns, let them die first. I mean, that's what, you know, it is to be a Marine. You are meat sent to the slaughter so you can hopefully create a whole to, you know, attempt to make a win. I mean, but it doesn't matter.
Well,
these types...
That said, they're not stupid either. Marines are actually, they might be in that role.
No, I know. It's not. They're not going to kill themselves unwillingly.
The average soldier. So people think that when people don't know the difference, they think that Marines are dumb, like jarheads, because they're willing to throw their bodies and bullet. The funny thing is, it's a catch-22. The Marines are more intelligent than any fucking soldier.
Yeah.
They're also more disciplined and more highly trained.
They're intense.
But they are willing to throw their body at a bullet before most soldiers are because they're also braver. They have integrity and courage.
Well, they're trained. It's a hardcore training regimen. I've seen Marines, you know, go through it. They do double days where they work out twice and they work out for 2 hours a day, and they're just made of steel. And other Air Force, Army, Coast Guard, Navy, they're not made of steel physically. That's the thing about a Marine, where if you go up against a group of Marines versus a group of Air Force, like, it's just night and day. Like, they're going to eat you alive. That's their ethos. That's their pathos. That's their, you know, entire psychology is steel.
And you know what else? The Marines don't follow the political correctness scale very well. When you get promoted in the Marine Corps, you have to provide a picture of yourself in your uniform, in your Charlies, which are the uniform that shows your belly the most, right? You have to provide a picture, and they look at that photo to decide whether or not you can get promoted. That's why you don't see fat Marines. That's
personal appearance.
But they fucking require it.
Personal appearance, even grooming standards, hygiene. I mean, this is the level of micro details that officers, you know, inspect enlisted soldier, you know, vis-a-vis. If you're a disgusting pig, whether you're in corporate America or you're working in a high level of military government, and you're disgusting, you're going to have no respect. People hate disgusting, smelly, dirty people.
We wear shirt sock suspenders. They're literal suspenders that attach our shirt, the bottom of our shirts, to the top of our socks to pull them together so your shirt's pulled down. So when you sit down, you get that little kind of like your shirt becomes, you know, loose there in your waist area. As soon as you stand up, you pull your pants out a tiny bit, you just pull your thumb out a little bit, boom, it snaps all back together. They're not comfortable to wear, but there's a reason they wear it, because the Marines also don't go out in public in camouflage uniforms because they're sloppy.
So I was in this Marine Corps.
We have to change our clothes to leave the base.
The
Army goes out to fucking McDonald's and
I requested a meeting with this general of my college. His name was General Grinolds. He had his nose blown off in Vietnam. and I came back from an Australia summer abroad trip, and I wanted to like tell him about the experience. So he had an open door policy. I made a meeting. I go in. You knock on his door and you say, cadet Kitover reporting as order general, and then he says enter. You salute. He stands up, salutes you. Then anyway. So the point is, there was nothing in this guy's office, like not even a desk. I'm talking like a TV dinner tray table with 2 chairs. That was it. There was nothing in there. And I said, he says, what do you want to tell me? And I said, General, before I tell you, can I ask you a question? And he says, yes. I said, where's everything in your office? There's nothing here. I said, why? And he leaned forward and stuck his face right in my face. He said, I'm a Marine. I was like, holy shit.
I love that. So, shit, well, it's true, though, because, yeah, it's true. Listen, field days. If you're enlisted in the Marine Corps for the first 4 years of the Marine Corps, every Thursday night, the room you live in the barracks, it has to be gutted. I mean, every piece of furniture removed into the hallway, and every corner completely buffed and shined of your floor, the bathroom, everything. You can't have anything on the walls. You can't have posters on the walls. You have to have a complete set of uniforms that is perfect without any what's called IPs, which are little tiny like threads on the inside seams of the pants. When you turn them inside out, they can't be there. So naturally, we can't wear the clothes that actually do that level. So we have a whole separate set of clothes just for inspection, which is a way to get around it. But at the same time, we slept on the top of our beds with a separate blanket the night before because it's such a pain you have to make the bed to uniform at that point. Every Thursday night you're doing that. So when he's talking about how that guy has nothing in his room, part of it is that he needs to hold inspection. He's not getting inspected. He's a general, but he believes in the concept that his room should be that perfect. And how can he clean it properly if he has shit in all the corners? So we have.
No, he told me why. He said people would come into the office, sit down, and look at all the antiques from World War II, etc., and it was distracting business. So he said to the management, operations, he said, get everything out of this office and put it in storage. Because he couldn't get business done because people wanted to sit there and bullshit about all the cool shit in his office because it was legacy shit.
Right.
That's funny. That's interesting.
Well, within like the ethos of the Marines, what they were designed for, the types of struggles they anticipated, there was like an extreme Spartan desire to have a self-sufficient soldier. Right? Any one of them could be cut off without any means of support, and they have to be self-sufficient and a good presentation of the American military.
So remember that they're the oldest service. They started a year before 1776, signing up so they were the first. They were the answer to the need that America had before America was even America. And that's why I consider them like the ultimate patriots. Like when you look at the 8th and I drill team, or you look at the Marine Corps band, or you look at the Marines that are standing next to the chopper every time the president gets off. They represent, it's a spitting image of patriotism, which is what's always been my struggle when I look at people like Donald Trump. It's not patriotism, this spitting image of patriotism to me.
Yeah, but Mike, you
I get it.
Mike, have you ever seen Trump in his military uniform? He went to military college. You don't necessarily have to serve to have a military upbringing, but Trump has a military upbringing. He was a military cadet.
Yeah, I haven't seen him, but I was saying that's my personal hang-up, but at the same time, I am increasingly believing that, like, what you said is what I want something that I can't have, which is the Republican Party without him. I get it.
Yeah.
So I have to do the.
And listen, that's what I respect about the Republicans. I respect people that can say this system works, it's great, it protects us, it provides for us, the rules will keep us safe. I respect that they can say that as looking at a clear failure of the system. They can say, listen, I don't like Trump. I wouldn't vote for him. I'd want a dozen other people. But he's got the Democratic power, and the system is pretty good, and if I really look at the particulars, he's probably insulated, and it probably will be a step forward for the country.
That's where patriotism comes to life, is when you still support something that's flawed because there's something more inherent.
Mike, let's be honest. If Matthew Crook successfully got a headshot, you might be on Clown House saying that he's a patriot. I mean,
oh my God.
My
If
put it this way.
I'm gonna
So
if he
drastic.
succeeded, I would not be sad. I would not be sad. I think the party would have moved on, and I probably would have been defeated.
No, it would not be an easy.
No, it would have been
moving
worse
on.
than party. But Mike, put it this way. I'll leave you with this, and I said it before. Don't be Stacey Adams. Don't be George. Don't be Donald Trump. We lost the primary. Accept the results. That's all there is to it.
Mike, this is like your psychological conditioning, meaning that like Donald Trump is your axe to grind because he sparks something in you, and it might be, you know, what I'm trying to say is, you know, you have a couple of Talmud Chachams on the stage, and basically when you read enough philosophy, it demands that you accept that the situation is perfect, that there's not a speck of dust out of place. I know it sounds ridiculous, but it sounds to me like a simulation theory, meaning that like Mike Moon is antagonized by Donald Trump, but it's basically, it's a you problem, Mike. You see what I'm saying? Like, it is a you problem.
Piece of shit, but if the country elects them, then good. Let the country.
See, Mike, this other Mike down here is technically...
Pieces of shit that we've elected to that very same position.
Yeah, you know, let's put the dumbest, most criminal motherfucker in there so he can trash all y'all's futures. I love it.
Okay, Blue Horseshoe.
Everything you just said makes complete sense to me.
I mean, this is a psychological situation. Everything seems to be a projection. And when Mike sits there, not Mike Moon, but this scumlord down there who's always running his fucking mouth like an idiot and getting kicked and causing all kinds of problems. Listen, you have a foul mouth and you're an idiot. I mean, can you imagine even working with you? I would fire you so quickly and request that security come and remove you. I mean, whoever you are, Mike, I think you're a fucking loser and you're a fucking moron.
I fired you, motherfucker. You know how many people I've fired in my career?
7.
Probably 50.
That's a lot of people.
Only?
I don't know. When you fire him from a Taco Bell, I don't know if that's a very good credibility statement.
That many. It's probably more like 25.
Okay, where did you fire them from? Where were you working when you fired these awesome people?
My company.
Your company? Oh shit.
We were talking about Trump, not me, yeah, hominem motherfucker.
Okay, motherfucker.
You can't. You're too stupid to stay focused on.
Stupid. I'm stupid. Stupid.
Come on, stop it.
Thanks, guys. You really
You're just making noises.
I know, but that's what Mike does. I hope you guys realize
I
that.
don't care, but you're just making noises.
But you know what? To John's benefit, or Tiffany's, anybody that sees Tiffany or John as stupid is clearly not that bright, not paying attention.
I agree.
He's a lot of things, but he's not stupid.
Definitely very stupid. Anybody who supports Trump is categorically stupid by definition.
And that, like,
Then I am double stupid because I
See?
like Tiffany and I like
You're probably
Trump.
stupid.
Listen, this room is great for Mike Moon because he actually gets to see a worse Mike, an actual real shitty Mike. So I salute you, Mike Moon, and God bless you and God bless America. And fuck these people like Mike down there. Fuck you, Mike, you loser.
Yeah, fuck you. Kiss my ass, bitch.
Yeah, see, the problem with just saying anyone who supports Trump is stupid is it doesn't really add anything to the conversation. Now Issa just sees that she's stupid. She's just gonna, like, roll with that now.
Exactly. I'm so stupid.
I mean, you know, it's kind of stupid to have any kind of argument about
Can I ask you
policy
just
with
for one
someone
favor,
as
Mike, please?
ridiculous
Do
as
not
Trump.
talk and you have food in your mouth.
Yeah, take the cheese baguette or croissant out of your mouth, you fat ass.
In their mouth, they're stupid.
It's the only thing I really hate.
Is it a cheese Danish? What are you eating, Mike? Be honest. What are you eating?
He's eating the Constitution.
Okay, vote Trump and go to the gym, fatty.
No, maybe it was not food in his mouth. Maybe he had something else in his mouth. But please just don't.
Maybe it was,
Doesn't talk with anything in your mouth.
See, Mike Moon, you get to actually witness another Mike who's so far more toxic than you that you should be thankful you're not as toxic as this fat piece of shit loser eating a cheese baguette.
Thanks for that backhanded compliment, John. I appreciate it. I think.
Yeah, it's a compliment, meaning that, like, you're not totally whacked. This guy, Mike, is technically the real whacked Mike. Mike Moon, whatever your problems are, they're insignificant compared to this fat loser piece of shit.
You know, Tiffany, why are you getting fed? You know that's not
You gotta
sanitary.
understand. This is what happens when you're a peon fucking loser.
Yeah.
Okay, if all of the people supporting Trump are stupid, how do we call all the people supporting Biden?
Also stupid.
Conspiratorial elder abuse.
Grave robbers. I'll tell you what, though, I'm pretty uncomfortable about Trump's running mate. I was pretty uncomfortable about the Heritage Foundation and all of that as well, those connections. But you don't like fascism? Well, too bad. It's coming to okay, God's boy. Fuck you.
The hillbilly. What do you like about the hillbillies?
Have you heard what he said regarding like child-free people and abortion? And he said that like people with kids should have more votes, so we shouldn't have politicians who don't have kids. Like a lot of crazy shit.
Why shouldn't people with kids have more votes? I think that's beautiful.
The thing about him is he's intelligent and he's flexible and adaptable over time. And I think that those two things are great. Just because something comes out of his mouth today that I don't agree with, I can't fault him as a whole, when I know that the same man said a lot of things that were accurate about Donald Trump in 2016, now disagreed, says something different, which I don't believe he completely thinks differently about him. I do think that he's saying different things now for his own benefit. But either way, he's intelligent and he's adaptable and he's capable of changing his opinion over time, and I think that's a good thing.
Listen, the left, they've never been through a Saturday morning inspection. They know what's coming. And when Trump comes to office, he's going to crush these people. And they are fearful and shitting their pants. Like Mike down here, that loser.
I just hope that there are enough therapists available in 2025, because it's going to be a rough ride for all the
There's
doctors.
There's not enough therapists now. These people need therapy now.
Have you seen like the outpour of tears after the failed assassination? It's
I'm telling you, if Matthew Crooks would have made a successful headshot, these liberal Democrat psychopath anarchists would have called Matthew Crooks a fucking patriot. They will be holding vigils for Matthew Crooks.
It's 50% disturbing, 50% disgusting, because those emotions are real. Like when you see people.
Did you hear that? Like a typical Republican, they don't get things done. You fucking piece of shit, Mike. I'm gonna pick you up when Homeland Security, when Trump comes to power, we're gonna pick you up, Mike.
Keep your anger inside.
Oh my God, El Normo, I had a dream about you last night. It was hilarious.
Oh, wow.
I know it sounds ridiculous. So I'm walking through a gymnasium, and El Normo is in the corner with like 20 clown house people, and he says, "Andrew, it's because of Edmund. Fucking Edmund." And I started laughing, and then everybody looked at me, and I left the gymnasium.
Yeah, I have been thinking about Clubhouse like you as well. Maybe that's a sign that I should just leave this stupid app for a while.
No, you don't have to leave it. You have to control it. Otherwise, it will control you.
I'm a fucking woman. I can't control shit, okay?
No, what I'm telling you is when you listen to the playbacks, and this is to Monica's credit, what you're really doing is creating a record. And so from that perspective, I mean, it's really just an audio track, meaning that this is an audiobook in hindsight. So if you were to listen to it versus listening to an audiobook of high value, you'd be like, oh, fuck, I really am listening to a shitty audiobook. This audiobook sucks.
By the way, the audiobook of high value that I am listening to is J.D. Vance's.
Oh my God. Oh my God, really? He has an audiobook?
He wrote a book that's actually a very high Hillbilly movie. But I'm reading the book. I just downloaded the audiobook just now. I've read pretty much all the books from like other like recent years. Like
Do you know who his teacher was in Yale?
No, I don't know what.
Amy Chua, the Tiger Mom. She's the one that put him together with his wife. He is a tiger child.
Do you think he's a Skull and Bonesman associate, or is he actually in Skull and Bones?
A, he's probably in some kind of stupid super secret club. But B, I'm more interested in the Tiger Mom thing. That's an interesting parenting technique. And the stuff he and his wife are proposing, like with her being more liberal, him like, following through, becoming Republican, conservative, to maybe change some of his views. Like if you ask the college kids that knew him they say that this is like a weird turn to the right based on how he described himself in college. And I'm just curious to see more of the Tiger Children develop. Because it's like...
Can you describe what is a Tiger Mom? Sorry.
Okay, so Tiger Mom was a book Amy Chua wrote a while back about, like, kind of glamorizing aggressive parenting. Like, that we may have this, like, touchy-feely, anything the child does is lovely and delightful, give participation awards. She was like, no, demand better, always, right? Like... I don't want a kid that's in second place. And just because he's getting straight A's doesn't mean he can't take up an instrument. And just because he's got an instrument and straight A's does not mean he can't try after sports. Right? Things like maximize human potential. So I'm curious about the couple that she put together and is now going to be in the White House.
It makes sense that he would be into that too because of his upbringing, where he grew up with a mom that was a complete piece of shit drug user, his grandmother.
No one in this room should have trouble accessing army or naval resources in the future.
And he's clearly self-driven. He's got bar.
Yeah, and because he's accomplished the Imperial Navy with infantry.
A strong ruling government requires...
And that's an interesting guy, honestly. I'm curious to see Tiger Mom philosophy brought into the executive branch.
And the fact that he's so extreme right now, and he is extreme because, you know, who's the guy that founded PayPal with Elon Musk?
Peter Thiel.
Peter Thiel. Yeah, so that guy, you know, he's hardcore, extreme right, you know, he's kind of the tech industry's...
Are you sure he's hardcore extreme right? I mean, he's an elite faggot.
He's also gay, right? He destroyed a newspaper because...
he's got Steve Bannon vibes, though, is politically speaking.
Isn't that hilarious?
It's weird.
You get that? He had to purchase the legal claim that Hulk Hogan had against an online blog to destroy them because they refused to stop outing him as gay. That's a weird, modern kind of technique. And he came clean. He was like, yeah, I straight up did that. Hulk Hogan wanted to settle the damn thing. I took that claim away from him years ago. I'll settle it when they're dead.
So, what I was going to say,
Palantir.
The fact that JD is going so extreme, his friends are saying, compared to what he used to be, just proves that he's putting his foot in the water in all kinds of places. Like, he might be swinging that way right now, but I know he's intellectually capable of becoming more moderate in the future. Just because he's there now, it just tells me that he has an open mind, and that hopefully, I believe, you know, that somebody as smart as him would come back and find a more logical center.
Okay, he has a will to power. Like, I do not at all say, like, he's young, he's very popular, he's got name recognition. I think that Trump is actually very skillfully choosing a successor in populism to him. And he probably doesn't care that much that J.D. Vance, left to his own devices, probably would be more liberal if he could rein the Republicans in. He's a good successor. And I think it's very likely that J.D. Vance will be president after Trump. That's a possibility.
Oh, God.
And also, also the fact that he was a never Trumper at the beginning, and now that he has actually turned around and given Trump his vote of confidence, that is also, I think, part of the strategy to say, okay, look, I didn't believe in this guy before, but look where I am now.
So what's the Latin phrase for father of the nation? Paternas fratitas or something like that? Basically, Trump has positioned himself as the grandfather of this nation. He is giving America what it needs and what it wants.
What were you saying, Meyer?
I said I may never say never, Trump.
Never say never.
But do you think... see, this is the thing about Skull and Bones.
Oh my God, tell me... Promise me that there is not a book in our future published by J.D. Vance called Never Say Never.
He now owes me royalty.
Hi, Scotty.
Hello, how are you?
Coming.
So wait, what causes...
I have your
pickup line of the day.
Yes, I do. I have your pickup line today. Are you ready for it?
I'm ready.
Hey, Issa.
Where you go? Is it better than yesterday?
Yeah, yesterday was very vulgar. I didn't like it.
Hey, Issa. Are you a supply side economic policy? Because you stimulate my growth in all the right areas.
You're gonna make it big with that one.
I'm not sure. You're still stimulating your growth and your stuff.
Look, I mean, sometimes they have to be a little racier than others,
But hey, haven't you got? You gave that one before, dude.
No, I didn't give that one before. No, I haven't used that.
Yeah, you have used it. You stimulate my growth. You've used it.
Yeah, but not with supply side.
I want to point out one thing about J.D. Vance before Trump announced at the RNC. It seemed to me like misinformation on Drudge Report that he was going to choose Ben Carson, and I felt like that's the left, or essentially the intelligence agencies, going bananas with J.D. Vance as the choice, if that's a possibility, or J.D. Vance is a member of Skull and Bones because of his Marine Corps experience and taking scalps. You don't have to go to Yale to get into Skull and Bones. If you go through their master's program and you're a veteran, and I know a lot of veterans that got scalps, they went to fucking Yale and they're already in Skull and Bones because they're killers.
Okay, Skull and Bones is just like a secret club. Like, yeah, he's already a politician. He's in the secret clubs. We get it. Anyone who's sitting in the big White Houses has a lot of secret, creepy friends.
I mean, when I was in college, my freshman roommate, he said to me, I can't wait to get my first headshot. And he was serious about that. And he did get his first headshot. He split a guy right in half outside of his fob.
Yeah, I knew a line cook that said that he joined the Vietnam War because he really wanted to kill somebody. There's all types of people on the planet. They're not that crazy to want to kill people. And some people have killed people. J.D. Vance seems to be a populist. Listen, understand this. He's not a Republican replacement. We're a Democrat replacement. He is a populist replacement. What Trump is actually angling to do, and this is skillful from like a business perspective, is he's aiming to take the executive branch for the people. That be a more populist seat than we have been led to believe by the parties of Republican and Democrat that have traded back roughly the same kind of guy.
But Michael, he is basically creating the Radical Brothers.
He's making a third party. He's saying, let the popular run. Let the media personalities, the popular people that have movies about them, audiobooks that they've read, and anything else. Let those people that are known, let them occupy the executive. It's a fair argument.
So, I mean, I go back to my original thesis that everything we're witnessing is totally ugats because Dominion voting systems, Alex Soros, Clinton, Obama, etc., the fix is in this populist swing, 3.5 point whatever percentage increase. It's not going to be enough to overcome Dominion voting systems, and everyone is going to be very disappointed. And it's just like January 6th, post January 6th, meaning there's no catharsis because the system is so rigged and so scammed. And the Democrat industrial political complex is so vast that this small populist swing won't change the outcome of a fake election, a scam system. The system is totally scammed. That's my opinion. And I think a lot of Republicans are going to be very pissed. And all this talk about J.D. Vance and Trump is going to be irrelevant and useless in the future because the Democrat political industrial complex is that powerful, that subversive, and it's tied into the military industrial complex, the national security industrial complex, etc. And Trump is not going to win this thing. This is one giant theatrical show which will result in a loss.
I expect to bet on how hard he works, but I would be interested to see, how that lands for sure.
John, you legit think that the last election do you think it was stolen? Like, legitimately?
100%. The system is totally fake. It's totally, the databases are all...
I didn't know that you thought that.
100% is a scam. Trump won that election based on the popular vote, and he should have gotten the Electoral College to back him. But how do we still believe this illusion that the national vote matters when an Electoral College chooses our fucking president every year?
Yeah, I'm not okay with that either.
I don't know. Especially since the idea of state sovereignty and states as sovereign entities adding their voice in that fashion. it's not this idea that he represents one person. It's the idea that there are 50 separate sovereign polities, and what each of those polities
understand the concept of it. Yeah.
But Marshall, the problem is that think about in the past it wasn't problematic, and it just seems odd that it so many times in a row now in the last 20 years that it has gone opposite public opinion, and that it seems like it's problematic.
5 times in the last 50 years. Look,
I know it was all in the last, but it was all in the last like 5 or 6 years.
Yeah, look, I'm not arguing too aggressive or fucked up. I'm saying
You are here
just as a
because
matter
the big man sees potential in you.
The loyalty of those who really at that point, it's problematic. Tremendous value.
Here,
Get to more extreme, exact division.
Widespread
Maybe it's
deployment
problematic.
show a secure military presence across all sectors.
right. States in the modern American concept have less of this idea of strict political sovereignty versus, 100 years ago, the idea of strict state political sovereignty was sold on the notion.
Any threat.
Right? Right. So I think post the Civil War, we've become a country in which, yes, we rely on states, but they, in some circumstances, function as provinces in an empire in that way. And people don't necessarily think of those states having their own sovereign entity. Versus me, because I like this kind of stuff, I think each state should represent its own sovereign entity and then voice its concern, versus an entire national law thing that doesn't take that into account. But
Marshall, it also varies by state. Like New York, New Jersey, California, these states have like no state nationality. Texas, Florida have much more. Like it does vary by state.
Yeah, that's fair.
But assuming the way you're thinking then is the opposite of what I said, which is actually that you could argue with what you said, that the fact that it's been, it appears to have changed and been more effective in one direction or the other in the last 5 elections versus all of history is an example why it is important, because you're maintaining that state individuality in a time when we are most homogenized and ignoring that reality, I guess is what you would say.
That's a good argument. I also think
like it's being put to the test.
Well, I also think the significant source of our problems, I just had it.
Listen, I hate to interrupt you guys because I don't even know what you're talking about anymore. So, can you guys maybe make some points or something?
You don't hate to interrupt. You were looking forward to
what I'm talking about is that brain fart.
Don't worry about it. You don't gotta give me counts.
Listen, this clown house think tank has gone off the rails, gentlemen.
The electoral college?
The electoral is a bright guy.
It's basically flexing its muscle. That in concept, it's flexing its muscle to highlight the republic nature of state versus the logic nature of one nation together. It's flexing its muscle lately more than ever because we are so close to the 50-50 split, and now you're seeing the real reason it existed in the first place, which is to maintain state integrity in electoral process on an individual basis. That's what we're talking about.
Well, it also existed too because the big states and small states, there probably wouldn't have been, the Constitution probably wouldn't have made it without certain protections for smaller states, right? And so this is
that's what it's called, a great compromise.
Right. And also, I mean, look, I think, for better or worse, the popular vote isn't a thing, right? I mean, we act like this is a thing. It's a media thing, right? I mean, it's not, the popular national vote plays no role in our politics. It's not an entity. It's not a thing. I mean, we should say, look, it's just as, popular to say, look,
drill down and
the electoral college doesn't correspond to who has the better hand. I mean, it's mythological.
Join the empire. Explore new worlds.
Thank you.
Bring order and unity.
We can argue that maybe it should be a thing, but that's not going to happen because you need a constitutional amendment. There's too many states that this current system favors, right? I mean, it's just...
The states are the the states are like countries, and you need to take into consideration what that specific country wants, right? What that specific state.
But this is duality versus.
One option for reform would be this. And some states do
Take
this.
the laws away from women again.
Exactly. Well, of course.
Scott, no reform is needed. The system is already perfectly balanced and harmonized. What Joe Biden is doing to the Supreme... Oh, shut up, faggot.
What you could do.
Never win an election.
If you wanted something more
Hampton, I'd love the honest
supposedly
to get rid of the college.
If you wanted something, if you wanted something more representational, you could do. I think Maine does this. A couple of states. Some states don't do winner take all, right? Which some states.
I think it's 2 states in the
Exactly 2 states. Maine and I forgot the other.
Maine and Nebraska or something.
Maine and Nebraska, something.
Yeah, and that would change things, right? Because that would mean it's not 50.1 means that would make. I mean, that would seem to be more representational. I mean, and you could do that without changing the Constitution, right? Every state could decide that on its own.
Yeah, but the state has to choose that.
Right, exactly. It would have to be something that all the states individually would have to choose.
But how can you disagree that the system's not perfectly harmonized as is?
Because you can get presidents that lose the popular vote by millions of votes and still become president. That's the problem. I'm sorry, but if you lose by 3 million votes,
That's a good thing because we don't want New York. We don't want New York to California
That's how
deciding
it's always worked. Yes, it happened 5 times in the last 50 or 60 years, which I agree with you can be disconcerting for people. But it's never been about what the popular vote actually is, not unless you're talking about your standard.
Exactly, because this is a motherfucking republic, not a democracy, bitch.
I'm saying it should be that way. It shouldn't be that way. It should be by the popular numbers of people. Just because you live in a land state.
Do you honestly think we want people like you in large hordes governing this country? No, Hampton, we don't want faggots running this country.
Erase the idea that states are their own sovereign entities, right?
I'm sorry if faggot is a trigger word, but it's just a word.
Stop. They don't function as provinces like in other empires in that fashion, right? So there is original state sovereignty, right? It's not just about all the people that exist. It is about the state's sovereignty.
Disrespectful little faggot.
As part of that system, right? The problem is in modern day America, I think you're an exemplar of this. You don't necessarily see it as a good idea for there to be state sovereignty in that fashion, right? I'm not saying you have to agree with me. The idea of having a state choose its own destiny is an inherently American argument, right?
God bless America.
Well, I thought everyone, it's individual rights, right? The person, the individual.
I'm sorry, Hampton, do you know how a republic functions? It doesn't function around your ego and your emotions.
Just let Hampton talk. Come on.
Is it going to be a travel ban? You think people will stop again?
What does that mean? What trouble?
Just let Hampton finish, dude.
Go ahead, Hampton. Tell us what your political theory is.
For me, my vote doesn't matter. In California, the largest state in the union, my vote counts less than somebody in Ohio, the swing state.
Why the fuck do Ohio?
Doesn't mean that
You guys
I'm just going to vote for the president.
What that means you're voting California, California, that's on Ohio. It'll be more like the real vote.
The empire is a magnificent construct. However, it's not without its vulnerabilities.
I'd like to know if anyone here believes the rebellion plans its actions around the artificially constructed boundaries of our sectors.
Regional governors now have direct control over their territories.
Do you really think the rebels care about the lines we draw on maps?
While many of my colleagues think on a grand scale, they often overlook where problems begin.
They're so proud of themselves.
So fat and satisfied. And they always start small.
You get the most
Oh yeah, I see what you're saying. Right. Yeah, if you're Republican in California, it's a waste of time to vote for president. Because it's gonna go blue. I guess what you're. Yeah. But what I'm saying is,
if I was to move, or maybe 1,000 of liberal California to Ohio,
The rebellion.
The sickness which kills both common man and king.
The longer we wait to identify a disorder, the harder it is to prevent the disease.
We need minds like yours to eradicate them.
I've seen it, sir. I've measured. Take it slow, the right scene. Sisters either change or die.
Someone there is talking. We need to listen.
You think you can care enough to make an effort?
The libertarians did this.
Cost effective. Your TIE Defender program is in place. Krennic has been persuasive about diverting the funding to his own project.
Marshall, didn't the libertarians do this? Marshall, didn't the libertarians do this in Vermont or New Hampshire, or whatever? Because I think it's either New Hampshire or Vermont has like the biggest state legislature in the sense of it. Very few. It's one representative for every like 2,000 people or something. So it's very easy.
I can't place the state.
It's easier to get in the House. So all these libertarians just moved to like Vermont, right? And they were able to not just swing the vote, but they were able to get in state.
I hate to interrupt, but can we talk about the Federal Reserve and the military-industrial complex at some point?
Dude, just
stop. Tiffany, are you
This station is now the ultimate power in the universe.
A place of weakness. Deep within the system, it's becoming as pointless.
Stand here, Hermit. Monarchy! Not yours!
Fight mandates the choice of
So powerful they will never fight.
The control is desperate. It's so unnatural.
The Empire will trivialize it. Over time, this creative league of dissolution military.
Tyranny requires constant effort.
The Empire will slowly crumble.
It breaks. It makes.
Because we already have the popular vote. We already statewide popular vote.
Oppression is the most
just the president, you don't. The president, strict Democratic platform.
Right, but even still, like, okay, then a Democrat we could get
And
a
Senate.
president for
Senate's not
and
quite
Senate.
popular.
Yeah, and so that would change the whole like governing of the country. They would live in it'd be like Canada or something. We would do like Medicare for all. We would do like universal college. We would like talk about the environment. We could keep up with other countries and actually invest.
Sometimes it's better to have state do it than it is to have the federal government do it.
We are the United States of America. I don't think we should have 50 little countries inside one place. And like
Power delivery system it touches.
Welcome to the plan of our founders.
Listen, I hate to interrupt, but Meyer, could you possibly tell us, or Daniel, what the shut the fuck up, bitch. Tell us what the Toira would tell us about today's situation. How would the Toira, what would the Toira tell us to do right now? Shut the fuck up. Go take some more meth and go knock on some doors, you fucking stugats.
You don't need to be annoying.
You honestly think I want to spend my morning listening to you and Hampton go back and forth? No, shut the fuck up.
Because we were actually talking about the subject.
We're having a nice conversation.
Just tell us what the Toira needs to tell us and shut the fuck up.
Out of greed and self-interest. Others out of fear. Or with ambition.
But, yeah, so, this is my,
Why do you seek
But Jealous, we've had Democratic majorities. Obama had a Democratic House and Senate.
Right.
And we didn't get Medicare for all. We didn't
because he did what he did do Obamacare. He was trying to do a single payer, but they had to compromise.
Bro, it's fucking a budget, man. This is so stupid.
he couldn't get all the Democratic votes.
It goes to the insurance companies. It doesn't go to anyone other than insurance companies, which are banks. You guys live in Democrat dreamland.
The reason why it was a failure is because all the compromises that he had to make to get it passed.
Compromises, you fucking idiot. It was a scam. It was $30 billion scam, a $300 billion scam. It's all fucking fake money going to fucking corporations. It's a scam.
It's death panels. That's what they used to say. They used to fearmonger during that whole time.
It's a fucking scam to get more money out of the Federal Reserve to give to banks and corporations. You guys live in dreamland. Go to the gym and vote Trump, fatty.
That's what they were talking about.
But,
you would submit a request for a hip replacement, and somebody on this bureaucratic council would look at that hip replacement and go, yes, we think you deserve a hip replacement. No, we don't think you deserve a hip replacement, right? So, that was the point. They didn't want people doing that.
Are people in Canada, walking around or not walking around?
Hip replacement? They need to go to yoga class before they even start doing hip replacements for free.
Cosmetic surgery or lots of other surgery. Well, and it's not that. Canada, they end up coming to the United States for complicated procedures, right? So cosmetic shit, they come to the States because their medical system will cover it. Some surgeries like heart dialysis surgery are done in the United States because Canada's single payer system does not adequately deal with them, right? It's it is part of the same reason, for example, you have winter Texans who live in the middle of the country come down to South Texas and buy meds in Mexico, right? They can get them cheaper. That's the idea.
Right?
I don't know. I don't understand how.
I don't know.
Socialized medicine, but they have a higher life expectancy than us. So it's just weird. It's weird.
Weird.
A lot worse. So they're a lot more
Those countries that we tend to
They
look at
want more than you guys.
live longer.
We in Europe work much more than you guys. That already.
Scams are weird. It's a scam.
But I don't know. For me, I feel like we shouldn't have little 50 countries in one country. We should be able to move together in singular. That's why China is able to do so much more
it's too many people, Hampton.
No, Hampton, there's a reason in Texas when you ask people who they are, they reply Texan first and American second.
And that's
you're never going
dumb, dumb alert, dumb alert, dumb alert, dumb alert.
Tiffany, stop.
Dumb alert.
It's just a piece of argument over state sovereignty that has to be taken in.
I understand Zach's position. Definitionally what it is. If he were to say something like, I believe that the Federal Reserve should have Bitcoin as a part of its treasury, then Bitcoin goes crazy. If that's the point you were trying to make,
he is going to.
Yeah, he might.
Do you have any foreknowledge here, Zach? Do you think that you might want to long the fuck out of Bitcoin?
I don't have direct foreknowledge. I think there are publicly available signs.
Mike Germano, I've been texting Mike Germano a lot recently, and he keeps hinting that something is massive, but he won't tell me what it is.
Look, there is stuff I know that I don't directly know he's going to do that. The public stuff that I think points in that direction is if you look at Cynthia Lummis has been recently saying that we should do that. She's been saying, stay tuned. And I think Bitcoin Magazine or David Bailey have tweeted out some stuff that points in that direction.
Massive. And also, her letter landed on Trump's desk recently. I consulted on it. Truly, there will be hell to pay for who we are as Bitcoiners. Make no mistake about that. We're the new Jews.
Greatest statement ever on Clown House. Bitcoiners are the new Jews.
We don't like. We're going to have to stick together with them.
When you say we're the new Jews, do you mean
1940 Jews or 1990 Jews?
History remains to be written. I mean, let's hope it's the latter. I mean, the thing is,
as the Bitcoin wheel
listen,
turns,
it's very boomer
are
to say, but
Bitcoiners
we didn't
the new
set the fire,
Jews?
baby. You know what I mean? Like, it was always burning. Like, we are just simply citizens who protected ourselves.
For the record, that is a great song.
But that is gonna fall. It's gonna fall on who? Oh, who's that? Who's shit beeped?
Yeah, who's?